Bass Reeves, the lawman history tried to forget. When most people hear the name Lone Ranger, they think of white hats and Hollywood tales. But the truth is far more remarkable. The real Lone Ranger was a black man, a former enslaved person who became one of the first African-American deputy U.S. marshals west of the Mississippi River. His name was Bass Reeves, and his story is one of courage, cunning, and justice that history has tried to overlook. Before we dive into his incredible life, remember, the most extraordinary heroes are often the ones they didn't teach us about in school. So buckle up and like and subscribe to Yahweh Stories Broyo 4 because you're about to meet a legend they hoped we'd forget. Born in 1838 in Crawford County, Arkansas, Bass Reeves came into a world of chains. Enslaved by William Steele Reeves, he endured a life of forced labor, harsh discipline, and constant threat. Even as a child, Reeves displayed a keen mind and an extraordinary ability to read people, a skill that would serve him well later. During the Civil War, after a dispute with his owner's son, Reeves struck out and escaped into the Indian Territory, navigating treacherous forests and rivers. He didn't just run, he survived, learning the languages, cultures, and customs of the Cherokee, Creek, and Seminole nations. These years of hiding weren't just about freedom. They were training grounds for a lawman the West had never seen. In 1875, the United States government tasked Judge Isaac C. Parker, known as the Hanging Judge, with bringing law and order to the Indian Territory. Parker needed deputies who could handle the most dangerous outlaws, men who were ruthless, cunning, and familiar with the land. Bass Reeves fit that description perfectly. At 37, he became one of the first black deputy U.S. marshals west of the Mississippi. Alone, armed with a Colt revolver and his unshakable resolve, Reeves patrolled a territory as large as several U.S. states combined. He didn't rely on posse or backup. His wits, knowledge of the terrain, and mastery of disguise were enough to track down criminals who had terrorized communities for years. And he did it without ever being seriously injured in the line of duty. Reeves arrested thousands of outlaws over his 32-year career, earning a reputation as fearless, fair, and nearly impossible to outsmart. He could impersonate anyone, move silently through forests, and anticipate criminal behavior before it happened. Some say he had a sixth sense. Others credit decades of observation, learning from both native tribes and the harsh frontier life. And yet, he didn't let his reputation cloud his judgment. He believed the law applied equally to everyone, even when it meant arresting people he knew personally. His commitment to justice was tested in the most painful way when he arrested his own son, Benjamin Reeves, for murder. He did so without hesitation, proving that no one, not even family, was above the law. Bass Reeves's legend wasn't just in the arrests he made, it was in the fear he struck into the hearts of outlaws and the hope he inspired in communities. Word of a black marshal with unmatched skill spread across the Indian Territory. A symbol of law and order in a time of chaos, he became the template for the fictional Lone Ranger, though history forgot the man behind the mask. Unlike the sanitized Hollywood version, Reeves was a real operative, cunning, strategic, disciplined, and deeply moral. He survived ambushes, outwitted killers, and enforced the law in a world that often wanted him silenced because of his race. Despite his incredible service, Reeves, like so many black heroes of his era, was underappreciated during his lifetime. He retired in 1907 but left behind a legacy that is only now receiving the recognition it deserves. Monuments, historical societies, and historians have started to shed light on his contributions. Yet most Americans remain unaware that the real Lone Ranger was Bass Reeves, a man whose life story reads like an adventure novel written in the harshest terrain of history. So next time you think of justice on the frontier, remember Bass Reeves. Remember the man who chased lawbreakers alone, who knew the land better than anyone, who upheld the law with unwavering fairness, and whose courage changed the course of American history. His story reminds us that true heroes often work in shadows, leaving legends that time nearly buried. And if you want more stories of real-life heroes who defied the odds and history itself, like and subscribe to Yahweh Stories, or because the greatest legends are the ones they tried hardest to erase.